It's public record in all 50 states. You can find out when the foreclosure is occurring, you can find out the address of the property, you can find out the name of the owner, and then you can take it through our 5-step process.
I live in a non-judicial state.
Which state?
He does not say.
Okay.
The notice of default is not recorded in the court system. The first indication that we have a homeowner is in pre-foreclosure is when the legal notices are placed. The legal notices run for a 4 weeks prior to the auction. This is the first Tuesday of the month. What would be the most effective marketing type in this situation?
Okay, so he's in Texas.
And no, he just commented he lives in Georgia.
Okay. Georgia, okay. So, Richard, in Georgia, you're dealing with a non-judicial, which means the notice of default is going to be filed at the county recorder's office, not the courthouse. Okay, but I'm not going to challenge what you're telling me. I'm just going to answer the question based on what you're telling me. And if we determine that it's different, it doesn't matter because I'm going to give you the best strategy for what you have. Okay, and what you do have is you have 4 weeks. Okay, you have 4 weeks, and that is ample time. I mean, we're knocking on doors 3 days before the auction and not a second sooner than that. So 4 weeks is plenty of time, all right? So what you're going to do, Richard, is you're going to sort your lists from equity and no equity. When I talk about knocking on doors, we only, and I want you guys to write this down, okay? We only knock on the doors of homeowners that have equity. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with that term, equity means if the house has a fair market value of $300,000, fair market value, so the FMV is $300,000, I want at least 50%, which means the underlying loan on that house is no greater than $150,000. So, Richard, when I say we're going to sort the equity deals from the no equity deals, I want a minimum of 50% equity. Well, how do we do that? Well, it's pretty simple. We're going to take the address, okay? And again, it's 123 Main Street in Alpharetta, Georgia, okay? And I'm going to look, so I'm going to pull the debt stack because the debt stack is going to tell me when they got the loan. So let's say that, let me go over here. Okay. Now, again, Lee's Inner Circle, okay, we teach this. We also teach this in our funding tour. If you guys have not been to one of our funding tours, or it's been a minute since you've been there, you need to go and revisit our funding tour. Go to fundingtour.com. There's no charge for this, okay? We do this every Wednesday, so we got one coming up on the 5th. So today's the 3rd, the 4th, yeah. So Wednesday the 5th, I got a free 6-hour training that we teach you the basic real estate fundamentals. So a lot of what we're talking about will be covered there. Go to fundingtour.com. Even if it's been a minute, we're constantly updating the curriculum and what's being taught because the market is changing. But we tell you guys that you got to take your deals through a 5-step process, okay? First step, you go to Google. So you take the address, put it into Google. Now on Google, that's going to tell us, is it listed? Is there a real estate agent that's marketing it for sale? Have they placed it on any for sale by owner type websites so that it's easy to track down the seller? We always want to do what's easy, so we're going to track down the seller. So step 1, we go to Google. If we can't find any information about the homeowner, the next step is we go to Zillow. Now, Zillow is going to give us the Zestimate. Now, another word for Zestimate is guesstimate, because Zillow is close, but it can't always be trusted, okay? Now, understand the way that Zillow works. Zillow takes a city block like this, and it takes all of the houses that are on that city block, and it takes how much they sold for, okay? So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 houses. And these 14 houses all sold for $500,000 a piece. So we had $7 million worth of house sales. And then Zillow takes the square footage, okay? So it says, okay, I had 14 home sales. The average square footage of each house was $2,200 or 2,200 square feet. And we had 14 house sales. And I'll do the math for you. 2,200 square feet times 14 is 30,080 divided by 7 million. So the dollar per square foot is $227 a foot. Okay, so now when you go to Zillow, Zillow will take this number right here, and within about a 3-block radius of that house, anytime you go in and you say, okay, well, I've got a house over here for $1,350 a foot, the way that Zillow comes up with its Zestimate is it takes that $227 a foot and it says, okay, well, 1,350 square feet, that's a $306,818 Zestimate. Okay, so even though the average sale was $500,000, it's going to attach the same dollar per square foot to a smaller home, even though it's 3 blocks away. That's how Zestimate or Zillow comes up with its Zestimate. So it's close, but don't rely on it. It is not the gospel of value, okay? It's close. But from the Zestimate, we can determine the FMV, or what we believe to be the fair market value, okay? So we determine that the FMV is $300,000. Step 3, we're going to go to Cenfuse. Okay. Now from Cenfuse, what we're looking at from Cenfuse is right here, this debt stack. Okay. Now, I would encourage you all right now, go to LeeArnoldSystem.com/debt stack. Now, understand that when you go here, you're going to pay $4.97 to get a debt stack. I want to encourage every single one of you right now, go to LeeArnoldSystem.com/debt stack, and I want you to get a debt stack on your home, okay? Get a debt stack on your home. It's about a 14-page report. And in it, it's going to give you your tax assessed value, your bedroom and bath count, square footage, lot size. It's going to give you all of the previous sales information. It's going to give you the surrounding comparable sales information. It's almost identical to what you're going to get from a title company, but you're going to get it in seconds, not days. Now, for those of you that have Cenfuse, and Cenfuse is the other piece of software that we recommend you have to successfully do deals. We encourage that you have Dealio.pro and Cenfuse. Dealio.pro is where we procure our lists. Cenfuse is where we get our list data so that we can determine what is or is not an equity deal. So, Richard, back to your initial question, okay? We get the property address right here, 123 Main Street. We Google it, we go to Zillow. Zillow gives us their fair market value, which is $300,000. We then pull a debt stack and we find out that they bought the property on January 1st of 2010, and they got a loan for $200,000. Now, a loan on January 1st of 2010, that loan is now 15 years old, which means they have paid down what they owe about 40%. So if they got a loan of $200,000 in 2010, they still owe about 60%, which means the payoff on their underlying mortgage is $120,000. Now, $120,000 is what they owe. $300,000 is the value, which represents about 45% loan to value. Okay, so Richard, is this a equity deal or a non-equity deal? Well, it's an equity deal, right? They only owe 45% of what it's worth. This is a good deal. It's like 45% loan to value. So then we go to step 4, okay? Step 4 is to skip trace the lead. Skip tracing the lead is to get the phone number, okay? So we're going to get the phone number and we're going to do something that very few people do these days, and that is we're going to pick up the phone and we're going to actually call the lead and we're going to talk to the owner of this home and we're going to say, hey, my name is so-and-so, this is Richard, I'm calling you because, as I'm sure you're aware, your house is on the foreclosure notice. In fact, it was just posted yesterday. You've got 4 weeks before the auction occurs. We have something called Super Tuesday here in Georgia, and all foreclosure sales happen on the first Tuesday of the month. And right now, your house is slated to go to sale, which would be really unfortunate because you bought the house in January 1st of 2010. You've been in there 15 years. You got an original loan of $200,000, and from what I can tell, you only owe about $120,000. So I want to help you either stay in the property if that's what you'd like to do, or I can buy the property before it goes to sale and give you enough cash and enough time to get out of that property, if that's what you want to do, before it goes to sale. Now, I'm available to meet with you either Tuesday at 4 or Thursday at 6. Which of those times works best for you? Okay, now I want you all to recognize the difference between calling when you have zero information about the property versus calling when we've done all the research, okay? I know more about these properties just by pulling the debt stack than most homeowners know about the property. And so the call comes off as being very professional, very above board. We're calling to help them, to serve them, to see how we can creatively come up with a solution so that they don't lose their house at the foreclosure auction in 4 weeks, okay? So for those of you that are going, well, how is this helping me? I don't live in Georgia. Well, understand you guys, the process is the same. The foreclosure timeline is different in all 50 states, but all 50 states have a foreclosure timeline where the property has to be posted. It's public record in all 50 states. You can find out when the foreclosure is occurring, you can find out the address of the property, you can find out the name of the owner, and then you can take it through our 5-step process. And those of you are now going, well, wait a minute, what's the 5th step? Do not call registry, okay? So here, we've done all the research. We skip trace the phone number. Before we dial that number, we're gonna run it through the do not call registry. Now,